News isn't boring, but most news reporters are. Thankfully, DJ Wimberly and friends are not. They don't just bring you the breaking news from around the world, they keep you locked in with their entertaining and informative commentary on the top stories in politics, business, entertainment, sports, and more. You are now tuned in to the DJ Wimberly Podcast.
This is DJ Wimberly, and welcome to the DJ Wimberly Podcast. Today is April 14th, 2020, and there is a lot to talk about today. Breaking news. I don't even know if it's breaking news because it's news that we've been knowing for the last 3.5 years. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, has went off the hinge. Today he has held one of the most craziest, ludicrous, propaganda spreading news conferences that anyone in this world has ever seen. He was off the chain. And it's so much off the chainness, I'm not going to even tell you what the off the chain stuff was. I'm going to let you hear some of the clips. And then once we play some of the clips of some of the stuff that he said during this news conference, we're going to talk about it.
Steve, go ahead.
There's a debate over what authority you have to order the country reopened. What authority do you have?
Well, I have the ultimate authority. The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The President of the United States calls the shots. If we weren't here for the states, you would have had a problem in this country like you've never seen before.
You said when someone is President of the United States, their authority is total. That is not true. Who
Okay,
told
you know
that?
what we're going to do? We're going to write up papers on this. It's not going to be necessary because the governors need us one way or the other, because ultimately it comes with the federal government. That being said, we're getting along very well with the governors, and I feel very certain that there won't be a problem. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Has any governor agreed that you have the authority to decide when their state
I haven't
opens
asked
back up?
anybody because
But
I
no one
don't.
has-
You know why? Because I don't have to. Go ahead, please.
But who told you the president has the total authority?
Enough.
Just to clarify your understanding of your authority vis-a-vis governors, just to be very specific. For instance, if a governor issued a stay-at-home
When you
order,
say my authority, the president's authority, not mine, because it's not me. This is when somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
your authority is total.
It's total. It's
Your
total.
authority
And the
is
governors
total.
know that.
So if a
The governors know
if a
that. Now you
governor
have a
issued
couple of bands
stay-at-home
of,
order-
excuse me. You have a couple.
Could you rescind that order?
You have a couple of bands of Democrat governors, but they will agree to it. They will agree to it. But the authority of the President of the United States having to do with the subject we're talking about is total. Look.
From the standpoint of the Constitution,
Yes, constitutionally.
you thought it should be up to the
Constitutionally.
governors.
You can look at constitutionally, you can look at federalism, you can look at it any different way. John, the fact that I don't want to exert my power is much different. We have the power. Does the federal government have the power? The federal government has absolute power. It has the power. As to whether or not I'll use that power, we'll see.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
Yes, let me repeat that one more time.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
Yes, you got to hide everything because this man is off the chain. If we sit here and allow Donald J. Trump to control everything, we're all going to be dead. So, yes, you probably want to hide everything and everybody because this is crazy. And this clip that I played for you guys, that was one news conference. That wasn't a combination over a couple days. All of that stuff that took place, those were just clips. That was all in one news conference on April 13th, 2020. Wow. So as of today, there's nearly 2 million people worldwide that have contracted the COVID-19. There has been nearly 120,000 deaths worldwide. In the United States, there is 600,000 confirmed cases and 24,000 deaths. That is crazy. Now Donald Trump wants to say he's going to open the government up by May 1st because he's so more concerned about the economy. He don't give a damn about nobody's lives, because at the end of the day, how are you going to open up the government where, although the curve has flattened, this social distance needs to go at least a couple more months. As I said in one of the other podcasts, it should at least go to at least June, if we think it's right then. But no, he just wants to just end social distancing right now, send everybody back out there to work. And I promise you it's going to get worse. I don't want it to get worse, but I promise you, because the social distancing has worked, but it's still going to take some time. He's more concerned about his reelection. He knows that economy has to be strong if you want to be reelected. So he's putting his self-interest above everything in the lives of other people. I don't understand, why is 24,000 lives to him so trivial? You just have to listen to the things that he said. 24,000 lives just in the United States alone that have died. That's a lot of people. I can't even grasp 24,000 people have lost their lives. That's a lot of people in the United States. That is crazy. That is just remarkable. And he discounts everything. He keeps talking about, hey, we got the best of the best. But guess what? We're above any other country right now with the amount of deaths. So how we have the best, but we have more deaths than any other country in the world. Even more deaths than China. China had 3,400 deaths to date. But we got 23,000, and China has way more people than we do. But we have more deaths. That just does not make sense. I am so sick and tired of hearing this man keep saying that these bright sides of it. These are people's family members. And it's just because he can protect his family. They can go live in their really expensive hotels. They are not in this situation that most people are. Not to mention African Americans. African Americans, this COVID, I'm sorry, I always say corona, but I decided to just change it. This COVID-19 is affecting African Americans so much more than any other race out there. To me, the race thing is very, very, very important, but I'm just still looking at it as a whole. Close to 25,000 people have lost their lives as of date of this podcast. Now, when I do the next podcast, I'm afraid it's going to be even more people. That is disheartening. That is crazy. Why? But then now he wants to say he's going to restart the government. Damn what the governors have to say. And the thing about it, I guess he obviously hasn't read the Constitution. Number two, how can you restart something that you didn't stop? Most of the all of the stay-at-home orders were issued by the local officials and the governors. He refused to even do a blanket national stay-at-home order. So how can you stop something that you didn't even start? That doesn't even make sense. But again, he hasn't read the Constitution, because if you read the Constitution, the state has the say so when it comes to stuff like that. He has became or trying to insert himself as a dictator. He's an asshole. To whatever way you want to look at it, I just don't understand. It's mind-boggling. When I went back and I even played the clips of this press conference, he was talking to the reporters like they were crazy. He actually started off with this video, which it seemed like it was more like a campaign video, which, first of all, he got people that work for the United States government in the White House producing a video for his re-election. It's almost like a re-election video on the taxpayers' dime. It was praising him for all of this stuff that he did. No, there needs to be a video redone because honestly, Donald Trump has blood on his hands. He is trying to insert himself and make like he's done everything right. That's not true. He has not done nothing right, to be honest with you. You know, he sits there and he waited for so long. You have to realize he was calling it a hoax. But now you want to take credit for stuff that you didn't do. Oh, you stopped China. You put a travel ban on people coming from China, but it wasn't even really a travel ban because people were still able to get here. It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. People are losing their lives, people. People are losing their lives. And we have this man to sit here to think about. And then he wants to sit there and tell the governors what they're going to do. I promise you, those governors are going to put their foot in his ass. They're going to let him know that you're not going to dictate. And it's unfortunately that it might get worse because it's going to be an outright fight because it's going to be the states against the federal, which is Donald Trump in this case. He wants to say that, we the federal government, the state, is up to you to do your thing. But then when the state's doing their thing, then you want to then kind of try to run things. You're trying to have it both ways. You're telling the state to handle for themselves. But then when you want to kind of come into the decisions, you want to make the decisions because you want to start the economy. I promise you, people, if he says anything, you need to still stay at home. You need to call your job and say, I ain't coming in. Because I just do not think on May 1st, we are ready to ease those restrictions. I just don't think so. Because although they have flattened the curve, if people start going back out there, and this is not even under control, we don't have the proper testing in place, we don't have a lot of stuff in place, I feel that if he is successful in getting the world or this country to basically restart back in May 1st, it's going to get worse again. That curve is going to go right back up. There's going to be more people that are getting sick, and there's going to be more people who's going to die. And it's just unfortunate that he doesn't see it. He's so more concerned about his re-election chances than anything. I already, and I'm going to go off on a limb and I'm going to say he's going to lose in November. This is what I predict. Because people are going to look at it like, man, you're not a leader. We're going to really need a leader to lead us to have a recovery after we do get this under control. And Donald Trump is not it, people. Today, Bernie Sanders endorsed Joe Biden, which is a good thing. I hope the Democrats unite right now and actually get a hold of what we need to do to beat Donald Trump. We got to get him out of office. But I pray that America and our people are looking and paying attention to all of this, especially independents and moderates. I hope that they're listening and they see what's going on. And it should be very scary for them to have a president that is so unhinged right now running this country. We need leadership right now. We need someone who's going to have a stable hand, not someone that has temper tantrums. Because the way he acted on that podium today was crazy. It was disheartening. Why in the world would you even sit there and say those things? But then you want to talk to people like you come across as a dictator. Man, when he loses in November, I pray to God that man leaves just like any normal person. Because the way he's acting, it's almost like they're going to have to drag him out the White House in January of 2021. He's going to make something up. He's going to make something up. They basically elected a man to run this country. That's what we have in office right now, a madman. It's unfortunately that we are living in this time. I applaud the governors for what all that they have done. Most of them. I'm in Georgia, and our governor's kind of like a clown himself. He has done a few things right. And at one point, prior to this, I didn't think he was a bad governor. But again, he puts party over people. And he makes some dumb decisions like, why would you even allow the churches to even congregate right now? Church or no church, people need to stay at home. When you don't put the restrictions on the churches and say, okay, well, you can go to church. I'm anxious to see within 2 weeks, what are the numbers in Georgia when it comes to COVID-19 after Easter Sunday, where they didn't put the restrictions on places of worship. You know, I understand people have a right to express and practice their religion. But right now, stay at home, watch it on TV. You're going to have plenty time to go back to church and stuff. Let's get this under control. Again, if you really look at the statistics nationwide, it's only the Republican Party governors that have not all issued a stay-at-home order. It's 7 governors that still have not done it. And I'm anxious to see within the next couple of weeks what happens in their states. They're going to have blood on their hands just as well. They're trying to take the lead of Donald Trump because they want to stay in his good graces. But that's crazy. It's not cool. And it's unfortunately, it's getting worse. And although the numbers are going down, I just feel if we let Donald Trump have his way, the progress that we did have is going to go right back up. On other news, meat suppliers are even shutting down. Man, one of the meat suppliers, actually, they are one of the nation's largest when it comes to pork. So I don't know what y'all gonna do now. Y'all ain't gonna have no bacon in a couple weeks. They gonna go and run out and take up all the bacon on the shelves right now. So hey, I'm probably looking just like they did toilet paper. In about a week from now, you ain't gonna be able to find no bacon, no pork chops. So you better run and get you some of those, because in about a week or two, everybody gonna run and tear up the stores just to get them some bacon. Now, I like bacon, you know. I ain't gonna even lie. I love me some bacon, but ooh, man. But it's just the world that we live in. You know, you can't find toilet paper. You know, luckily I was able to find toilet paper. I had to kind of go through some sources to get it, but I got plenty of toilet paper. You know, people probably selling toilet paper like they selling marijuana. Yo, give me 3 rolls, $20. Man, it is nonsense. I do, and I also want to shout out to all of the medical workers out there, because right now they are on the front line. I have a sister that's an RN, and she was telling me she's in Louisiana, and in Louisiana she has like the little mask, like the little paper mask, and I'm like, man, that's all you got? So luckily I was able to come across a couple N95s, and I'm going to send those to her, because the people on the front line, they're expected to go in here to try to save people, but they don't have the materials and the items to protect them. It's disheartening. It's disheartening. And Trump, instead of him leading us, every day he has a 2-hour press conference on attacking people. But I still have faith that we're going to get through this. I know we're going to get it through it. But I just think we just have to, if nothing else, make sure that we get out and vote. I pray that they get this under control so people can vote in November. And it's crazy because somebody told me the other day, they said maybe they want it to go back up because then they will have to cancel the election or whatever the case may be. So they said that's another reason why Trump may be doing it. I don't know why he's doing it. I think he wants to win, but that could be he just wants to make everything so just unstable, so he feels that we can't have an election in November. But no, we're gonna have an election. Let me tell you something. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of the COVID-19, but I tell you, election day, November, I will be out there. I might have to safe distance 12 feet, but I'm going to be out there because we have to get Donald Trump out of office, people. It's miserable. It's just sad. And then he got the cronies. Then he wants to go after the doctor. Today, the doctor wanted to walk back. I think the doctor is scared of him. I think he got them so scared. Let me tell you something. If I was that doctor, I would say what I need to say, and I'd be like, God damn it, fire me. Because you can fire me, but you can't silence me. It's unfortunate. That's what we're dealing with right now. It's just one of those things that I just don't understand. And then in China, they relaxed some of their so-called restrictions. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen within the next week or two because they relaxed them. I don't even think it's over in China, to be honest with you. I think they basically relaxed their restrictions too soon. I just hope, but I wanted to be clear. I really want all of this to end. I really do. So I don't want it to be like, because I'm talking things down. It's not that I'm talking things down. I'm just being realistic with things. There's a lot going on. And some of the decisions that are just made by people, it's just, it's like people, they're so more concerned about themselves and the people who support them versus everyone else. Now, tomorrow's podcast, we're going to have a couple special guests. We're going to talk about a lot of the other things that are going on out there and get some more insight or opinions on some of the things that are very important to us right now. I'm going to have some call-in guests. I'm going to bring Tori back. He was one of the guests in one of the other podcasts, and we got a lot of listens and a lot of feedback from people regarding that podcast because they say, hey, you guys are talking sense. Because that's the thing about it. You have to have people be able to talk sense. And then the people that are really not following this, you need to have people out there that are willing to explain it to them on the importance of what's going on and why is it so important this election to vote. Now that Bernie Sanders endorsed Biden, I hope that they can unite the party so we can do whatever it takes to get Donald Trump out of office because he is wrecking this country right now. He is making things worse. And he just sits there and he leads with self-interest and heart. And people, I told you this a while back, Donald Trump does not give a damn about anybody in this world but himself, his businesses, and his family. And the people that kiss his ass. You can't have that. You need a president that cares about everyone. But in 2016, he said, what do we have to lose? And he said it to black people. Clearly right now, black people are losing their lives at rates that are 2 times, 3 times more than any other race. So I wish he asked me that question now. What do we have to lose? And I would say to him, do you know how much we have lost? You keep going back talking about the unemployment rate and all those other things, which again, that's another podcast on. You're not the reason on why the unemployment rate is down. You just inherited a economy that was on the way up. It's just like an airplane. When an airplane takes off, when Obama was president, he set the foundation, and a plane, just like a plane, the plane takes off into the air. Once the plane gets enough energy and speed, it zooms and it goes higher and higher and higher. When Donald Trump was elected president, the plane was already airborne. It was climbing. The only thing Donald Trump did was he was lucky enough that the plane had already got the speed and the economy was going up. Now with this COVID-19, it's like the economy has crashed landing. And the thing about him, he's just doing whatever he think he can do to save the economy. He doesn't care about nobody. He doesn't care about nobody. He more cares about his re-election campaign. I'm telling you, people. I'm telling you. The man is evil. He is evil. He is evil. That's the reason why he has a red face. I'll leave that there. He has a red face. And his red face might not just be from tanning. He's an evil person. And I never in my life have saw someone that's had sat there and tried to make positives of something that is so tragic and that is so hurtful right now. All these people are losing their family members. I sat there and watched CNN, and you saw people that lose 3 and 4 family members. I sat there and watched a lady talk about her husband. She couldn't even go to his funeral. But Donald Trump, when he gets on that podium, he sits there and brags and he talks about stuff that doesn't make sense, what is not even relevant. Do you think these people give a goddamn about what you're saying right now? About things when you're talking about the military stronger, the American, we had done more tests than anybody else. I mean, that man tries to prop himself up too much. Everything he tried is like a competition with himself. What planet are you from? We are huge. We are this. We are that. We are great. He out there firing people, inspector generals and stuff when we're in the middle of a crisis. That's how political this man is. People, I have to tell you this and I have to say it again. We have a idiot in office. Mama Maxine Walters said it so good. She said Donald Trump is incompetent. Yes, he is very incompetent. He's a self-serving, incompetent idiot. Yeah, I said it. And I don't give a damn who get mad about it. This is why it's so important to make sure that we get out and vote, because this nonsense has to stop. This is the first time in my life that I've been so scared, not because of being an American, but because of the person that is leading this country. I'm gonna be honest with you, people. I'm scared. I'm scared for myself. I'm scared for my family. I'm just scared for humankind, because he is putting politics above anything else, not listening to the doctors, not being rational about things, then get on this dictatorship type of stuff that he's doing. wants to reopen the country before it's time. But there's so much more we're going to talk about in our next podcast with my guests. I'm going to save some of it for then. I leave it with this message. Please pray every day. Pray twice to 3 times a day because we need it. I pray that things get better. I pray that things turn around very soon. And I pray most that we do whatever we can to get Donald Trump out of office in November at the voting booth. Because our lives, our livelihood is all in a balance. When they say that this is one of the most important elections of your lifetime, they say that every election. This is the one election that I believe it so heartedly. I look forward to you visiting me soon and listening to another podcast. This is DJ Wimberly and I'm signing out. The DJ Wimberly Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the DJ Wimberly Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and come back to check out our next episode.